Hey everyone, Catch 'em All Collectibles here with an update. Anybody who's watched the earlier videos, about a month ago, I did the most recent video on this base set first edition collection that I bought just over a month ago. Here's the details. I'll do a little bit of a recap here at the start for anyone who missed the earlier videos, but I will leave a link to send you to the first one if you want to rewatch the series. But yeah, July 8th, $24,400. I bought a complete PSA graded first edition set. There were some cards as low as you can see Hitmonchan here was a 4, but the vast majority of cards were PSA 8, 9, and then a few were also 10. Hidden right now, but I used to have tabs or columns that showed you how I came up with my list pricing. Basically, what I do is I look at the lowest listed on eBay currently, and I look at the last sold, and I kind of use those two to be lower than the lowest current listing, but also taking into account the last sold too. Anyways, what that all amounted to, I listed all 102 cards for a total list price of $44,743. And if all were to sell for that full price, I stood to profit roughly $14,800 on the lot. And as you'll see now, it's a month after I made that video, a month of the listings being live. I've sold quite a few cards. Everything that has an amount in columns H and I, that's the actual sale price in column H and the actual net. The net isn't going to be perfect because some of them you'll see sold, well, I'll mention they sold together. So actual shipping costs, I didn't get crazy spending a lot of time figuring out the exact dollar amount, but the eBay fees and everything would be accurate. So yeah, that's where I'm at. One thing that I mentioned in the earlier videos, you'll see the pictures here. So this Charizard and the Pikachu were the kind of the premier items of the lot. I still have the Pikachu. I believe I listed it at somewhere around $55.99. It's the lowest on eBay by far, by about half. I think the next lowest listed is 10,000. But the Charizard, anyone who watched the earlier videos, this was the listing photo. Looked really good, looked like an 8, clean. I mean, for as best as you can see, you don't see the backside there, but I bought it knowing, okay, PSA, that's a good condition card. It had this line through it. It's really hard to tell with my bad photograph too. The line extended all the way through both borders. This card is currently at PSA through the customer request center. I went in, and I'll detail this in a future video once I actually know how I made out on the financial guarantee. But I sent it to them under their $300 express service. If they fail to lower the grade, I think I'll owe that 300. If they do agree that it was misgraded, I believe that will be zero cost to me. They'll return the Charizard with its proper grade and then a check for the difference in the value between 8 and whatever they deem it. So taking a bit of risk there, selling it. I talk about it a lot more in the other video. But yeah, Charizard is still up in the air. I'm hoping that I can finalize this collection flip in about a month from now. So hopefully it will be a complete 2-month endeavor. That's where Charizard stands. Once I get it back, I intend to list it somewhere in the $10,000 to $12,000 range if it's still an 8, and I'll just have to append the upholding of the grade, the email or whatever that I get if they deem it the 8. And if they do it lower, hopefully I'll just put somewhere in the spreadsheet, yeah, they cut me a check for this much, and I listed the PSA 5 for this much, whatever it would be. But anyways, all that aside, getting to the actual sales, Alakazam, Gyarados, Blastoise, and Ninetales actually went all at once. You can see the sum down here, $5,000 for those 4 cards. I kind of arbitrarily, I mean, we didn't really say Alakazam is this much, Blastoise is this much. We just said 5,000 for the 4. This is the way I attributed it to each card. If you're really pausing the video and comparing the prices a lot, you'll see a lot of cards like the Electrode, the Doug Trio. A lot of the cards just sold for what I had them listed at. The Chansey, And then the occasional card, actually, look at Nido King. Nido King sold for $10.99.99 when I originally intended to list it for $9.99. So one thing I did when I went to actually do the listings, I didn't just blindly use my intended list pricing. Some of the really cheap ones I did, but I quickly looked and I actually saw that the most recent sold was slightly higher, especially on some of the hollows. So from last video, about a week later to when I was actually listing it, I bumped up the ask prices just to reflect the new data points. And you can see that I successfully sold. Mewtwo was interesting. So I sold it for $24.29, which was a $70 discount to my intended list price. What I actually listed it for was $26.99.99. And I was starting to mention before I switched gears a little bit, but I did send, after about 2 weeks, I used the feature that eBay offers. I sent a 10% discount offer out to everybody who was watching or had messaged me on these items. So yeah, the Mewtwo was listed at $26.99. 10% off of that would be $24.29. So a common theme, you'll either see them selling for the full ask price. Poliwrath. Poliwrath was an interesting one because it was actually the first hollow that sold. I actually sent an email to James just to let him know that his favorite Pokemon was the first. James was ZNG. He's a big Poliwrath fan, so I was sure to let him know that that was the first hollow to sell from this flip. But Raichu went quite a bit over, and yeah, so like Zapdos was actually lower, but Beedrill 10% below. You'll see quite a few if you're looking through actually went for 10% below my list pricing, because that 10% sending an offer feature is really a useful tool for a seller that just wants to move some things, wants to get some action on their items. I don't use it a ton because I feel like if you use it too much, you can get people watching your items and just waiting to buy them till the next sale. So I only use them here and there, but yeah, that's kind of where I stand on all this. And if you go through column I, so column H was my sold price, the actual sold price. Anything with a blank column H, I still have. I think I have 42 items still listed. And then obviously the Charizard's out at PSA. The net is what I netted after all fees, shipping, and all that. So far on my $24,400 investment, I've netted $15,450 back, and I won 12. So what this is, I call it still listed net. So if every other card I still have listed, and this does include the Charizard at the price I intend to list it as an 8. So it's not a perfect, but if everything I had sold at the full list price, I would still have $22,700 in net proceeds. So right now, having netted $15,400 and accounting for my $488 credit card rewards, I'm $8,400 from getting my original investment back. So you can see that there's about a $14,000 overage on what I would get if everything sold immediately to what I need to break even. So I'm still kind of in line for this net profit of $14,000. Obviously, one thing you need to take into account, everything that sold were likely the higher demand. You can see most of the hollows sold higher demand / better deals. So given that it's been a month and the ones that haven't sold, it's pretty reasonable to assume that I'm either going to have to send a 20% sale next via offer, or some amount of these I might just send to auction. So, I mean, say I were to get 50%, which I think would be really pessimistic. If I were to get 50% on list price of everything I have listed, I'd be looking to make about $4,000 on the lot. I feel like the real number will be more in the 70 to 80% range. So what I intend to do going forward, the next video that you see, I originally intended for this video to give kind of the outcome of the Charizard's financial guarantee review. PSA is taking forever with it. It's currently on hold, and they said a rep will reach out to me within 72 hours. That was like 6 business days ago. So all their time frames are just wrong, and we'll see where that goes. But I'm hoping within another month, I should know back. I should hear back from PSA and know whether this remains an 8. And if it does, I'll probably just send it to PWCC auction and have them auction it, or just sell it at a discount on my own eBay. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm hopeful that they'll do the right thing. They'll turn it into a 5, cut me a check for the difference, and then I'll be comfortable selling it on my own eBay page. But yeah, I think what I intend to do, if I hear back from them within a week or two, I might send out a 20% discount offer to all watchers of these items to try to move out a bunch more, because my goal, when I give you guys the final video, I want to really show like every card sold, and I want to give you where I ended up completely. I guess it's not a big deal if I still have some stragglers that haven't sold, but what I might do in 2 or 3 weeks, I might just send a bunch of these to auction just to kind of close it out and get a complete picture of how I made out on this flip. Generally speaking, the optimal thing to do would be to just retain the inventory, try to get the buy it now pricing, and get the best price, the best returns on my investment. But just for the sake of having like completeness with the video, in a month, hopefully I'll update with the Charizard review. Maybe I could do one more month, let them go one more month after that, and completely close it all out, sending some of these to auction. But anyways, it's been a month. I feel like I'm still a couple of weeks from hearing back on the Charizard, so I just wanted to, I've actually had a couple people reach out, hey, how are you making out with that lot? So hopefully this was interesting to some people, kind of getting a glimpse into how the flip's going, and here's some of my thoughts and methods for selling it. And I'm anxiously awaiting the results of this Charizard. That's really a key thing for this flip. So I appreciate everybody who's checked out the video, and I will catch you all later.